We're back with another episode of the Goonery. The innkeeper Brandon here as always. A whole lot of Goonery's going down the past few days, past week or so. We're gonna just kick off right from the top, Brandon, with Jackson Mahomes. In my opinion, there's some professional athletes who keep their family life very, very private and removed from the public eye, and there's others who keep them in the limelight, and that's an okay thing, and there's no issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes needs to get a grip on his younger brother Jackson, and that is a stone cold fact.
I mean, the whole TikTok thing when that started, I was like, all right, this guy's kind of a goof. And because maybe I'm just an old ass man and I just hate the TikTok dances and all of them are corny to me, every single one. But to take it to the level that he did Sunday, now there's different reports out there about him dancing on Sean Taylor's number, the great Washington football team safety that passed away, I believe, 2007. And there was pushback from people that were defending him, saying like that was the designated area for him to be in. And there was those like me who was outraged because he was shamelessly dancing on a number like he didn't see it on the ground and he didn't see where his surroundings was. And I know it's very easy to blame Jackson Mahomes. I'm 100% blaming Jackson Mahomes for that. But if you're Washington and you're allowing families of certain players onto the field, why is it that the designated area for families is on Sean Taylor's number? That should be coveted. That was one of the most popular plays in your franchise. That's probably the last one. That is probably the last one that's not named Robert Griffin III or Clinton Portis. So on top of that, the family getting notified on such short notice, it just screams of, hey, well, we're kind of in the news right now. It's probably going to get worse from here. So, hey, Sean Taylor's number's getting retired, by the way. I want you to come out. So, make that arrangement. Washington is just that organization that they're like the Mets in the sense where baseball can be boring, football can be boring, but it's always those franchises that make it exciting because they're so inept. And it's not even on the field, but it's just the stuff that they do off the field. And Washington is right back in that realm again. And it's sad because they're not a bad football team. They're underachieving, in my opinion. But stuff like this, it's a joke. But mostly on Jackson Mahomes. Listen, Patrick seems like he's a really good guy. Probably
Undoubtedly.
He probably seems like a guy who's a little bit too nice because the way his wife talks on Twitter about the refs so openly, and that his brother, who doesn't have any type of self-awareness, does what he did. It's like, dude, get a grip in your family, because now, unfortunately for him, for as great as he is and how much he's revered from the NFL fans and the media, he's a target now. Guys gonna be like, yo, I don't like his brother. He dances too much, and now he want to dance on Sean Taylor's number. We got to hit him around some, and that's all from his brother. And it's sad, like I said, because he seems like a really good dude, but now outside people, not really outside people, but people within his circle are now being the reasons why he's going to be a target going forward.
Yeah, and my point is, it's hard to be as good as Patrick Mahomes is as a professional athlete and not have people hating on you the entire time, every single thing you do. Yeah, you have the people tweeting out whenever someone else makes an insane play. You'll see Matt Stafford make some crazy sidearm throw, or Josh Allen make a crazy deep ball. And that's something that's expected of quarterbacks of those caliber, but you'll still always see the replies on Twitter. Or like people saying like, oh, Mahomes did it better, or Mahomes, if like this doesn't deserve to be a highlight, all that kind of stuff. So you've kind of started to see the tide shift on Mahomes a little bit, in my opinion, but it's not full-blown hate yet like you've seen with Tom Brady, you've seen with LeBron. And I honestly don't think it's too early to lump Mahomes into that level of athlete at this point. I don't. And people, like you said, Jackson's going to start that turning the tide. People's going to start hating on him. And in my opinion, he might benefit a little bit from pulling an Aaron Rodgers here.
Hey, man, I love my family dearly. I'm not like other people, but in a world of professional sports where anything can make you a target, A tweet can make you a target. How you dress can make you a target. How you talk it can make you a target. What you stand for is going to make you a target. So though all those things line up in Patrick Mahomes' family. Now, I'm not saying to completely ignore your family because you have nowhere to you're gonna know where to go for Thanksgiving, and nobody wants that. But if you want to say y'all need to chill out, let me play football, y'all stay on the sideline, and I'll support you from there. But there's got to be a balance because now y'all are affecting my personal life. And granted, as a NFL player, I sometimes I like to speak on how they're sensitive sometimes, but sometimes they deserve to be sensitive because they get things thrown in their way that's completely unnecessary. So Mahomes has to make a stand. And honestly, I don't know if he's going to do it. That's the sad part. I do not think he's going to do it, but hopefully he'll prove me wrong.
Yeah, and part of me really wonders what the locker room culture is like that with the Chiefs. If people kind of screw with Mahomes a little bit, because I know if I was on the Chiefs, I'd be walked every time. I don't care if I'm first string, second string, third string, practice squad. I don't care what I am. I'm doing some type of dumb TikTok dance every single time I walk by Patrick Mahomes, just trying to screw with them a little bit. But you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, kind of pivoting a little bit about Dan Snyder and Washington football team just announcing 3-4 days beforehand that they were retiring Sean Taylor's number. I don't ever like to give the Washington football team the benefit of the doubt just because of Dan Snyder and everything that he's done in his time as the owner. But apparently this event has been scheduled for 3-4 months and people have known about it, but the jersey retirement was just announced and it was supposed to be like Sean Taylor Memorial Day. So I don't know. Still feels fishy, but I don't know. And Washington, unfortunately, looks like they're kind of bursting at the seams. And for Ron Rivera, I bet that means he does not end up with another head coaching job if he is fired eventually. And it's a shame. And now you're seeing the rumors that they're supposedly involved in a potential 3-way trade that would bring Deshaun Watson to Miami and Tua to Washington, which is just absurd in and of itself that Watson's even being considered to be traded for right now and not suspended or kicked out of the league. But I mean, as soon as Ryan Fitzpatrick's back, that's his job in Washington. You're going to see them losing in heartbreaking fashion, and nothing's going to change.
Rinse and repeat. But my biggest question is, like I said, this is one of the biggest stars in Washington. Sean Taylor, I'm talking about. One of the biggest stars in Washington since the 2000s. Like there was Chin Bailey that was in the early 2000s. You had Deion Sanders for a cup of coffee. And then the Clint Portis came along. And then it was Sean Taylor. And then it was Robert Griffin III. Now, Sean Taylor looked like he was going to be a guy that's going to be a lifer with Washington. Mm-hmm. As crazy as that sounds, because I don't think there's many guys who are lifers, but but what took them so long? What took them so long to retire his jersey? Like, I believe in giving athletes their flowers upon retirement, death, or whatever the case may be. So I'm not sure if there was politicking going on in terms of why he didn't get in, but I think it's suspect that it took this long. I don't think I'm alone on this, right?
No, I don't. I mean, the Sean Taylor news. I mean, I still remember. I mean, I was young, but I still remember watching SportsCenter that day, seeing how crazy it was, and the way he unfortunately passed away. It blows my mind to this day, and it's sad that we didn't get to see him play in the NFL for longer than he did. But undoubtedly left a very, very lasting legacy, and still a fishy situation regardless. But kind of moving on to just a comical situation, I guess, is Ben Simmons in Philadelphia. He finally ended his quote unquote holdout, came to practice, and when asked to participate in defensive drills by Doc Rivers, he told him no twice. Doc Rivers told him to leave. He drops the ball, left. And apparently he was practicing with his cell phone in his pocket that entire time that day. And I find that to be the funniest part of the story, that he just cared that little and probably was going to try that little, that he thought it was okay to carry his cell phone around with him. Because I don't know about you, if you ever tried to play basketball or run with a cell phone in your gym short pocket at all, no, you're not having children if you do that for a long period of time. And I actually saw this tweet a few hours ago. It was some scouting report from Ben Simmons when he was still at LSU. It was written 5 or 6 years ago or whatever it was, and it was His synopsis of Ben Simmons as a player was Simmons' lack of competitiveness in crucial games has raised questions about his character. Those who know him best say he needs things to revolve around him on and off the court, and he's often been closed-minded to coaching or instruction. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
First of all, I don't know why he was practicing with a phone in his pocket. I don't know if he was expecting a text from one of the Jenners anymore, but I think she moved on. But anyways, this situation is so messed up on both levels. I'm not even going to blame Ben Simmons for this. I'm blaming the 76ers. Let me start with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was a guy that the Sixers knew who they were getting. And granted, when you're in college, your game is still improving somehow. Every athlete that comes from college, like it's the same it's the same thing all the time. Now, we've seen over the past years that I'm not sure if competitiveness is his issue. I think it's more of a willingness to get better. And only God knows if this is an issue with the 76ers or Ben Simmons. And that's where it kind of pivots to the 76ers because, number one, this is dating back to the Brett Brown era where it felt like we would see videos of Ben Simmons taking 3-pointers at practice, and we even saw him take a three at preseason, and everybody went bananas over it. And you don't see that in game. And it's like, okay, I get it. You don't want someone who is not a consistent 3-point shooter to shoot the 3 ball, but you see it. Giannis does it. Draymond does it. So a lot of players do it. So this goes back to them babysitting Ben Simmons. And I think that also plays a part with Ben Simmons not really making an effort to get better. It's not to say he's a bad player. It's not a bad player at all. But this is a player that was dubbed the next LeBron James. And we see how LeBron James evolutionized his game throughout his entire career. So the fact that Ben Simmons never made that effort, that's the problem. But also, Daryl Morey being resistant to trading him.
Yep.
Like, the dude didn't show for a reason. And now he's handcuffed. And we said we're not going to get rushed into a trade or whatever. Guess what? Right now, at this moment, Ben Simmons' trade stock is in the damn basement right now. And it's both parties full. But my God, like, if a guy isn't showing up, that should tell you everything you need to know. So right now, the 76ers are handcuffed because I know for right now, they're not taking any calls. They're not calling anybody. Like, the guy obviously doesn't want to play there. He's done with the 76ers. The Sixers should be done with him. Just move on. This situation is so stupid to me. It really is.
Yeah, and I think the dumbest part of this whole thing, you kind of touched on it with Daryl Morey, but he came out and said today that this saga could very well go on for 4 years if they don't think that they get a proper return. I remember beginning of the offseason, didn't they turn down like 3 first-round picks and like a decent like bench player for Ben Simmons? And I just find that to be absolutely absurd because with the way the NBA is nowadays, everyone has to shoot threes. Everyone. Yep. I mean, the Bulls, for example, they're just such a small lineup now with there's new look Bulls that they have with Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan at the 3, Zach LaVine at the 2. You got Vucevic at center, who's obviously he's a traditional center, but he can stretch the floor. And then you're starting Patrick Williams, who's like 6'8" or 6'9" at the power forward. Mm-hmm. It's just the NBA is moving in a different direction. If you're a point guard, you got to be expected to shoot the 3-point ball decently well, I would say. And I understand that's not like Ben Simmons is a different animal. He's 6'8", 6'9", and insane defender when he wants to be. He could score and create matchup nightmares for other guards, but it's just if you're the Sixers, if at this point if I'm offered a first round pick, I'm taking it. I think it'd be foolish not to just cut ties.
What do you lose from him? Because if you really think about it, the Sixers have been held back because there has been that one hole in the lineup of him not being a prolific shooter. It drove Jimmy away. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Jimmy wanted to stay, but it didn't happen. Joel Embiid is I'm sure that he has in his mind that it's either him or it's me. And he has every right to feel that way because it always felt like the Sixers were going to be built around Ben Simmons, which in hindsight makes zero sense considering where the league is going and what Embiid can do. Embiid can do everything on the floor. Yeah, is he injury prone? Absolutely. That's probably why they're not built around him, but they should, regardless of whether he's available or not, because he's by far the best player on the team. So I don't know what the 76ers are thinking here. And to say the saga is going for 4 years, it sounds crazy, but he's lying. I'm not buying it. There's no way in hell I'm buying that. But if it let's say it does stretch for 4 years, Simmons is going to come back eventually. But in what capacity? You know what I mean? It's not going to be in a sense where he's going to be competitive. He's going to want to play for the 76ers. Sixers are already done with them. They're already done with them, from the personnel to the front office. Well, maybe the front office, but the personnel don't want to play with them. And that's the most important asset, the most important thing of all of this.
What's that? Yeah, and we kind of mentioned it too. You touched on how they should be building around Embiid. The fans in Philly want to build around Embiid too, and I think honestly he's the epitome of trust the process. Joel Embiid. He has been there from the start of this rebuild, and he doesn't want to go anywhere. He's embodied being a Sixer. And the fans have just embraced him wholeheartedly. And I think that's honestly kind of rare to happen in Philadelphia with an athlete, to be completely honest. Probably haven't seen that with a player on the Sixers since AI or maybe Iguodala. I mean,
the Allen Iverson love was different in Philly. I don't think
obviously. But like just that type of appreciation, I should say, just in the same galaxy.
Right.
But I'm interested to see how it shakes up. All right, here's a crazy hypothetical.
Okay.
If you are the 76ers and the Nets come at you with Kyrie Irving for Ben Simmons straight up, are you doing that?
If I'm the Nets, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
If I'm the 76ers, I'm not taking it. That's simple. Because honestly, let's be real. Kyrie's one of the top 15, top 10 players in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But is he going to want to play basketball all the time? We don't know. And honestly, with Ben Simmons, with the guys that's in those locker room, they'll straighten him out. And that's not gonna be an organization that's gonna kiss up to him, because that's KD's team. That ain't Harden's team. That's not Kyrie's team. It's KD's team. So there's gonna be none of that lackadaisical stuff that Ben Simmons does.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, so real quick, while we're on the topic of the Nets, I just want to touch on this really briefly. Just it made me laugh. It's honestly a non-news story. I'm sure it's some sort of glitch, but the video yesterday of James Harden when he the reporters after his media session informed him that he's on the NBA 75, him and both Durant, and he was just completely surprised. And he tweeted out just the video with the word "wow." And the tweet was from Cancun, Mexico, with the Nets having a game on Friday. And granted, I'm sure he has social media managers, but I just found that to be absolutely hilarious that James Harden could have potentially been tweeting from Cancun with already having a game on Friday.
Hey, he's probably out there vacationing with little baby. It's either that or he was high as shit and he just like, let me troll people real quick. Let me get a little quick laugh. But I mean, it worked. It worked for both of us.
I mean, it gave me a laugh. But all right, so that's a non-story. But moving on to it feels like it's recurring at this point. Just a little bit of a therapy session for Chicago Bears. I mean, disappointment is what this podcast has been built around with our sports fandoms, in all honesty. And the Bears lost a tough one to the Packers at home, and like we all know it, but now the rest of the world knows it. Aaron Rodgers owns the Chicago Bears.
So about that Aaron Rodgers point, clearly that was taunting. And I love how the NFL is hyping up this taunting of a player when that's the main thing they want to cut down on. Another discussion for another day. I'm actually not going to bash the Bears today. And here's why. I'm going to bash those pathetic, just worthless referees. Go ahead.
Here's what I have to say about that. Honestly, like I get the referees did alter that game 100%. I mean, there was the neutral zone infraction call that wasn't called, and Fields thought he had the free play and he threw the pick. 100%, that's a big play. And then he had them missing Fields timeout, and they were just horrible all day, admittedly. But if they make those calls, do you really think the Bears win that game? Obviously, it looks a little different, but do you think in your heart, do you think they win that game?
I think it comes down to the last drive. Because here's the thing. How the Bears was going on that first drive from offense where they just scored a touchdown, and then Aaron Rodgers, I think he got sacked, and then we were moving the field. We was past midfield when that interception happened. Only God knows what happens if that interception is a thrown, and we keep moving the ball and we keep, even if we got a field goal out of that'd have been a win. Anything of the points variety against the Green Bay Packers is a win. So I'm not saying the Bears would have won, but it would have been completely different. It would have been a game that, honestly, it probably would have been another Aaron Rodgers heartbreaker. Probably would have came down to the last drive. Mason Crosby makes the field goal, whatever, rinse and repeat. But those penalties really, really, really altered the game.
Yeah.
But while I say that, there is a very, very noticeable and very, very disturbing trend with the Bears under Matt Nagy. Let me preface that. Under Matt Nagy.
Okay.
That second and third quarter periods, I mean, you see no type of offense, nothing. And it's like, all right, they can script out the first drive of how it's going to go. They didn't have no game plan after that. It's nothing. They don't know what they want to do. And granted, it looked like they wanted to establish the run game with Khalil Herbert. And it worked.
Who looked great, by the way. I mean, he's looking like he's going to be a very sneaky good pickup for the Bears. And Damian Williams, who knows how long he's going to be out with COVID. I read that he was unvaccinated. That's why he's still out. Tariq Cohen, obviously, still MIA with his ACL tear, which just doesn't appear to be getting any better, which is unfortunate because they finally have some more weapons in this offense, in my opinion, where I think Cohen could be utilized properly. And Khalil Herbert, a pleasant surprise. That does not happen very often with the Bears.
And it's crazy because as much as we bash Ryan Pace, he does find gems. Like that's a given. Like
Darnell Mooney is legitimately the number one option on this team right now, which is, I don't even think it's a crazy thing to say. Allen Robinson has been nearly non-existent this year.
And I think it's one of those things where it's not even more about how Allen Robinson is playing, because it's just more that Fields has chemistry with Mooney. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because if you can make your second option, your third option, your fourth option, what you're one of your number one targets, that's you can't ask for more than that. You really can't. But I will say the Bears, they got to clean it up. They have to. And I think now you see more than ever what needs to be addressed in the offseason. We said it from day one. The offensive line was going to be a problem. It has continued to be a problem. And we saw on the drive after Aaron Rodgers taunted the fans that it started off good and then everything crumbled because of the offensive line. Yeah. But I will say this. Like I said last week, the Bears are going to lose this week against Tampa Bay. We know this. Are they going to get blown out? I'm not sure. But one thing I do know is I want to see one thing. I want to see Justin Fields on his feet. I want to see him move. And it's so predictable with their RPOs. Fields never keeps. No. He never keeps, and that's insane to me. But I think it goes back to that 2018 game on Sunday night where Mitchell Trubisky kept and got his shoulder messed up, and that basically like kind of messed him up mentally, I think. And I think that's something that has fallen on deaf ears of him running the ball and his lack of running the ball going forward with the Bears, in the rest of his tenure. But I do want to see Fields run with the football because honestly, that might be the best thing possible for the Bears, because granted, their offensive line stinks in the pass protection, but guess what? They can run block. They can run block very, very good. So, like I said, this season is a wash. Even though we're 3-3, it's a wash because the schedule is just way too damn hard. But the one thing I just want to see is Fields improve. And I don't like these people that are talking about that they don't see the flashes from Fields. If you don't see the flashes from Fields, I think that's just you saying that it's just another Chicago Bears quarterback and he's losing games, so that's why he's a bad quarterback. Stop this shit. It's lazy. It's so damn lazy. If you don't watch the game, just say that.
Yeah, no, I agree. You've definitely seen the flashes, and I just want to see more of what we saw in that first drive from the offense. I mean, you saw Nagy having Fields roll out a little bit in the play action game. You saw them trying to establish the run early. You saw them getting the ball in Cole Kmet's hands, who you invested
Yes.
a pretty high draft pick in. You might as well use them. And you're starting to see those flashes, which when you have a rookie quarterback, that's what you want to see. Honestly, that's what you want to see. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I know you're thankful that we have Justin Fields to be the quarterback for the Chicago Bears
Absolutely.
in the future. So this weekend obviously might go poorly, but definitely going to be a good test. It's going to be a great test. And I saw a fun fact that Tom Brady has played in the NFL for as long as Justin Fields has been alive. And the age gap between the two is the same age as Justin Fields, 44 and 22, which is just, it's mind blowing. One, to the longevity of Tom Brady, and two, the fact that Fields is as young as he is, which, hey man, sign me up for that.
The widest age gap in NFL history has happened on Sunday. Think about that. And truthfully, with how quarterbacks are going right now, with how mobile they are and how much they're going to get beat up more, we're never going to see another 44-year-old quarterback play again.
Mm-mm. All right, so just hoping for positive vibes for this weekend with the Bears. But I know you wanted to wrap up with something, so the floor is yours.
Yes, so I watched Crown Jewel today, and I went against my word that I was never going to watch another Crown Jewel or Saudi Arabia vet from WWE because they've all been garbage. I know the blood money thing. I know that they shouldn't be over there in the first place. That's another discussion for another day. But I watched it. And damn it, I enjoyed it. But that's not the main thing I want to talk about. On this day, this is October 21st of 2021, I am saying that the New Day is the greatest faction of all time. Better than NWO, better than the Four Horsemen, better than DX, better than, hell, definitely better than Aces and Eights. they are the best, most greatest faction of all time. And I'm going to back it up by saying this. For as long as they have been around, WWE has never teased that they will break up. That's number one. Number two, they've always remained popular, always in the tag team conversation. And number three, now granted, this is going to have to wait, but considering how things have gone in the past couple of years with Big E and Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods is going to have a hell of a singles run. And right now, with what Big E is doing right now, I was just telling my boy this, his popularity is going to run past the WWE. He's going to be a megastar in this business. And Kofi's run was amazing. He's going to be legendary just off that run alone. Forget all the other stuff. He's great, but that Kofi Mania stuff was some of the best work WWE has done in years. It's Xavier Woods' time, and I mean, who are we to doubt that Xavier Woods is going to have a magical singles run? So that's my piece. I believe they're the greatest faction of all time, and I invite anybody to argue with me.
I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I mean, some of the best feel-good moments for me as a wrestling fan in the past 5 years have all included the New Day. And one, I think that's a testament to how damn good they are at their jobs. And two, I think that's a testament to just, I mean, hard work. I mean, none of those guys before the New Day, I mean, Kofi was a middling single star. Big E and Xavier were just a middling tag team. And put all these guys together, let their personalities shine through. You just see how damn successful they've been. And I'll tell you, Xavier Woods, he's one of the more underappreciated stars, not even all of WWE and all of professional wrestling. Every single time he has a singles match, people walk away from it on Twitter like, wow, this guy's impressive. He's underutilized. I would love to see him go out on a singles run. people forget he's been wrestling for 17, 18 years, or whatever it is. And
Mhm.
he's more than just a mouthpiece. Like he tended to be in the New Day for a while. And I think the first time for me personally, where I was like, holy shit, Xavier Woods could be something in the ring if WWE ever wanted to do something with him on a singles run was, I think it's probably 4 or 5 years ago at this point. It was the Hell in a Cell tag team match. It was Xavier Woods and Big E versus the Usos.
Yes.
And he put his body on the line. And I mean, he literally gets the crowd to pop like damn near no one else in the WWE currently. And that's just got to be a good feeling. It just has to be a good feeling knowing that whatever you do, the fans are going to be behind you. And I think my favorite part about his little speech he gave at the end when he was putting on the crown with the staff and couldn't put on the cape, just like Zelina Vega couldn't put on the cape either. But kind of was giving off Mad King vibes, which I think could be an interesting way to take it if he just becomes kind of power hungry. I think it would be an interesting route to take. And I hope it doesn't lead in a new day breakup. But man, would it be something if Xavier turns heel and they slow? It's a slow burn heel turn, and it ends with Kofi winning the Royal Rumble and a triple threat match between the New Day at WrestleMania, the
Wow.
WWE Championship.
Now, I have always been of the opinion that I never want the New Day to break up.
Oh, I don't either.
And,
I don't either.
right.
But just
Now,
hypothetical in my head, when I think of that, I'm like, shit, that would be a Vince McMahon probably thinks of that idea and he just sees the dollar signs in his head, I bet.
probably, but I'm looking forward to Xavier Woods getting his real shine at a world title opportunity. And you you said that was the precise moment, that Hell in a Cell match with the Usos a couple of years back. I think my precise moment was just a couple of months ago. He was in a Hell in a Cell with Bobby Lashley,
Yeah.
and that is I'm telling you, that is a Raw classic. It is a
Mhm.
classic match. It is an excellent match. I would implore people to go back and watch it. But now I think we're going to see how good Xavier Woods is going to be, because he was okay. Like you said, he's always been the mouthpiece of the New Day. So now, if he gets the opportunity to be a single star, go promo to promo with a Roman Reigns, or compete for a maybe mid card title, but I'm not trying to see that. I want to see him go for Roman
Yeah.
Reigns.
Yeah.
But I need to see how good he's going to be, and I have no doubt he's going to be amazing in this role. Yeah, I have no doubt. It's just more of how it's going to happen.
Mhm.
Because if there's one thing that I don't give Vince a lot of credit nowadays, but one thing I'll give him credit for is the fact that he is always trusted the New Day with anything they wanted to do. So if Xavier Woods possessed something to him, he's going to be like, "Let's go for it. I trust you guys." And I love that. I love the faith that he has in them, and they have earned that right to be trusted by Vince McMahon.
100%. And I don't think you can find a single fan that dislikes the New Day. And I mean
You'd
that
be
genuinely.
surprised.
I know, I mean, I know there's people who, but like genuine wrestling fans, I think at the end of the day, respect what the New Day do. And I think that's very hard to find a unit as universally respected across wrestling, in my opinion. And just kind of just moving on to the rest of the show a little bit, that was the best show WWE has put on this year, in my opinion, top to bottom. I mean, the Hell in a Cell opener between Edge and Seth Rollins was incredible. Then you had the women's triple threat match, which was a great match as well. And Big E and Drew, I mean, people like to make fun of it that Vince McMahon just loves big, sweaty men. But my God, that was a banger.
And
And
also, a lot of people did not have any expectations for Goldberg and Bobby Lashley. And listen, Goldberg at this point, a lot of people don't want to see him in the ring. I want to see him in the ring because I know he's good for one thing: beating the shit out of his opponent,
Mhm.
and the opponent beating the shit out of him. That's all I want to see. And that's the thing. people have to stop expecting technical masterpieces out of Goldberg. It's never gonna happen. It never happened in WCW, and then it happened his first run, and it's sure as hell, and his old age ain't gonna happen now. If we can just appreciate the fact that he's just a guy that's gonna go up against another big dude, and they're gonna beat the holy hell out of each other, we can appreciate Goldberg matches more. Just because he doesn't move with quickness or anything like that anymore, I don't give a damn. That match with Bobby Lashley was really good, and I think it's even better that nobody had expectations going into it.
That was honestly probably Goldberg's best match of his entire WWE run, and I don't think that's crazy to say. And also, I'm going to say it too. It looked like Goldberg was in a lot better shape than his last match in Saudi Arabia,
Absolutely.
and he definitely had Vince in his ear this time around. I would not be surprised, like telling him like, "Hey man, like last shot, and it paid off. It paid off because that was for what it was, just being a complete spot fest. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Also, the most impressive part of that match, he hit a jackhammer on Bobby Lashley of all people. That's amazing. He hasn't hit a jackhammer like it felt like years, but he hit it, and I think that's the most impressive part to me about that match.
Yeah, no, 100%. And real quick before we wrap up, wanted to touch on Roman and Brock, which feels like the first chapter in another trilogy, most likely. Let's be completely honest. And I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I mean, Roman Reigns still, in my opinion, the best wrestler in the world at the moment.
100%.
And it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out with Heyman, though. You saw it on the look on Heyman's eyes when the Usos came out, super kicked Brock. Roman hit him with the title, and you could kind of see the kingdom and the castle starting to crumble down. And I still don't think Lesnar will be the one to dethrone Roman, though.
So, I hope people that are fans of the Bloodline are not watching this because I'm here to tell you Paul Heyman's going to split from them very, very soon. You're gonna just have to expect it. But I will say I feel like this is heading towards a rematch very, very soon. I don't know when because it's not going to be a Survivor Series. But can we see at the Royal Rumble? Sure. But can I also see Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble and going to WrestleMania to challenge Roman Reigns again? Sure. And I'm all for making new stars. I'm all for creating new stars. That's why I enjoy NXT so much, which is a different discussion we're going to touch on one of these days.
Yeah.
But Roman Reigns' best opponent seems like Brock Lesnar at this point. But when saying that, it's important to not run into the ground because Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre got run into the ground, and WWE has a very, very bad track record for running feuds into the ground. So we have to make sure that it's split, it's spread out, and we're not doing this match over and over and over again. So we'll see how it plays out. But I'm very interested to see who's going to dethrone Roman because honestly, I don't see anybody. Big E was that guy, but I don't know.
And honestly, I think that's a good thing because that means WWE is going to be forced to build a new star because with how much time and commitment you've put into this character with Roman, you're not going to just put that down the pisser and have Brock take the title off. Or at least I would like to think. I would like to think that. But I genuinely, I don't know, and that's a good thing. That's honestly a good thing. I mean, SmackDown, I forgot exactly who they have come to SmackDown on the draft. I know it's Cesaro's going to be there. He obviously won't be the person to do it. He already lost. You have Jeff Hardy, obviously not going to be the person to do it. I honestly
challenge though.
Who?
He's going to challenge. I think Jeff Hardy's going to challenge for the title though.
Oh, 100%. I do too. I do too. I can see that big going down at the Rumble. Build Jeff up a little bit. I mean, I believe Nakamura is going to be on SmackDown. That's
Drew McIntyre as well.
That might be the Rumble match then. Now that I
most likely.
Yeah. Which will be good. It'll be a good match. I won't be complaining. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see how it shapes out. The way things are going, who knows? Maybe Braun Breaker will be the person who wants the.
Let's see.
Dude, I'm enjoying him. And I did not think I would.
Braun Breaker is the future of the WWE, y'all. And at Gable Stevenson, it's Braun Breaker. He is the future. He screams of a superstar. And I cannot wait till he ends Ciampa's title reign. With all due respect to Ciampa, I don't think he needs the belt. I think he's solely a transitional champion, but I cannot wait to see Braun Breaker win NXT Championship. It's going to be amazing.
I don't know if it's because he doesn't want to or WWE doesn't want to or what's going on, but God, I just wish he would use that Steiner last name because he is his uncle reincarnated with the voice,
Literally.
just like the cadence of his speaking. I mean, he is Scott Steiner reincarnated, but more athletic. Honestly, he looks like he's more athletic.
Yeah, so the quick thing, Steiner will never be mentioned in WWE again. Why? Because Scott Steiner hates him, and they hate Scott Steiner, so that's never going to happen.
Fair. Fair enough. But yeah, I'm excited to see how that shakes out in NXT. Excited to see that. Honestly, it appears that online people are finding wrestling cool again in a way, or at least as cool as wrestling can be, which, hey, it makes me happy.
It makes me happy as well, but it also gets ruined when people feel like they had to have an allegiance with one company.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are losers. They are losers and need to touch some grass.
This is as good as wrestling has been since the 90s with the Attitude Era, in my opinion. And people just got their panties out of a bunch and just enjoyed the wrestling on their TV. I mean, you have Monday nights, you have Tuesday nights, you have Wednesday nights, you have Friday nights. And that's not even including, I don't even know what night Impact is on anymore or whatever, ROH, but wrestling's cool. It's fun and just appreciate it because
that's it.
Before you know it, we'll probably be back in one of those periods like 2013, 2014, 2015 in the WWE.
Nasty period. Very nasty period in wrestling.
Yeah. So that's going to wrap up today's show. Little all over the place, but that's never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the show on YouTube. We'll see you next week, and go Bears.
Go Bears.